Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. My name is Jones, in case you didn't know that already, and today I am sharing with you what I ate in a day in an attempt to reduce food waste and to reduce my food budget a bit, trying to save a little bit of money. And this first recipe is just for my morning matcha. I'm not exactly reducing food waste in any way for this recipe, but it's just what I have every morning, and so I thought I'd share that with you. In case you hadn't seen it before, I have shown this many times. Lately I've been adding a mushroom blend. It's got all the different kinds of mushrooms. Adaptogens are so good for you. And of course I always sweeten my matcha with some stevia. I just add hot water to the milk that I heated up in the microwave. Nothing fancy here, no fancy matcha whisks or anything. I just blend it up with my handy dandy little blender that I take with me even when I travel so that I can have my matcha in the hotel room. And I like to top mine off with a little bit of cinnamon. And yeah, that's how I start pretty much every single morning. Cheers. So on this morning, I decided to make some brown rice, which I don't usually eat for breakfast, but I really wanted to make the chickpea stew that I made in my last video, which was the high protein breakfasts video. But I was out of good bread, so I decided to make rice instead because it works really well with rice as well. I used to eat rice for breakfast all the time, brown rice in particular, but I haven't done that in years. But this was so good, I think I might start doing that again. I like to flavor it with a little bit of salt and some veggie bouillon. I've got my handy rice cooker and I just put that on to cook while I go do my yoga and my meditation. And here was some little birdies outside my kitchen window. I just thought I'd share this with you because they're so cute. So like I said, I wanted to make the chickpea stew that I made in my last video. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it in the description box below. It's a really good one, and it actually went kind of viral for me. I mean, I've never had a video go viral in the sense where it got like thousands and thousands or millions of views, but it did get several thousand views in a month and pushed my subscribership to over 1,000 subscribers, which I have been trying to meet that goal for a very long time. So if you have subscribed to my channel already, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button right now. But seriously, I am super thankful for all your support. And yeah, this recipe was actually using up some things that I needed to use up out of my refrigerator, like these greens. I used the last of those. And also those tomatoes that you saw me put in there are some that I jarred myself from my abundant tomato harvest from last year. And I have lots of jars of tomatoes left in the basement, and I have lots of little tomato plants that are ready to go out into the garden this spring, so I thought I'd better start eating those up. And I always have chickpeas on hand. This stew is just as good with brown rice as it is with toast. And you know, I have always loved brown rice. I prefer it to white rice, although other members of my family don't, so I switch back and forth between white rice and brown rice. I like both, but I feel like brown rice is a little more nutritious, a little more hearty, and I think it has a really nice sort of nutty flavor that I really enjoy. So I like to top this off with some hemp hearts and some nutritional yeast. And this was definitely a very hearty and filling and warming breakfast. I highly recommend it. So like I said earlier, I am trying to use up things in my pantry and my refrigerator. I'm really just trying to, one, reduce any food waste, and number two, save some money on my grocery budget. Now, I have a pretty good grocery budget. I do have a good job, you know, so I have plenty of money for groceries. I'm not really worried about how much I'm spending, but because the price of groceries are going up, it just makes it a little more difficult when you have a limited budget to buy all the same things you always did, because now they cost more. Not only that, but I am trying to save money here and there and trying to pay off some credit cards. So if I can save some money on groceries, then I can put that money towards other things. Anyway, I am getting low on a lot of produce, which is mainly what I've been stocking up on when I do go to the grocery store. But right now, yeah, I just used up the last of my greens this morning. I'm out of cucumber, I'm out of broccoli. Those are my absolute two must-haves. They're my favorite vegetables, so I have to have them on hand all the time. I'm out of tomatoes. I'm just about out of apples. I'm out of bananas, almond milk, you know, all kinds of stuff. So I really need to go to the store today. I usually do my shopping on like Friday or Saturday, but I was out of town last weekend, so that didn't get done. So now I'm really running out of stuff, and I'm trying to use up a few things before I do go to the store later. So today for lunch, I'm just gonna make a sandwich. I have some of this Light Life Tempeh bacon that I absolutely love, but I don't usually buy it because it's so expensive. It's much cheaper to just buy tempeh and make my own tempeh bacon, which I have a recipe for. I think it was 2 or 3 videos ago. So I'll be sure to link those in the description box below. But like I said, I went out of town this weekend. I was staying in a hotel, and I always like to bring my own breakfast food when I stay in a hotel. I was out of tempeh, and I just needed something easy, and it just seemed easier to buy the packaged tempeh bacon and take that with me. But of course I didn't use it all, so I'm gonna try to use, I think I'll probably use up the rest of what's in here. And I have a little baguette that I bought at a local grocery store downtown, just like a little corner market, and they had some really nice breads there, so I couldn't resist getting a baguette. I've bought some really good sourdough bread there before, but I know I'm gonna make some sourdough this weekend, so I didn't buy a loaf of that even though it was on sale. And I also have some homemade pesto, just a little bit left in the fridge. That's got spinach and basil, homegrown basil, I think. No, it was from Trader Joe's. Anyway, I love making my own homemade pesto. It's delicious, and it probably saves a bit of money. So I'm just gonna get to making that sandwich, and then I'll probably take the dog for a walk. He's kind of whining at me right now, but I'm hungry, so I'm gonna eat first before we go for a walk. Hey, Tuff Tuff. What's up? You wanna go for a walk? A walkie. But we're gonna eat first, okay? Okay. So I realized that I first started eating this tempeh bacon about 30 years ago. Boy, time certainly does fly. I went out into my garden to pick some fresh arugula. At the time, it was pretty much the only thing growing in my garden. Some little baby ones wintered over and then started growing really fast as soon as the weather warmed up. So that was a really nice addition to my sandwich. TLTs, or tempeh lettuce and tomato sandwiches, are one of my favorite. Of course, I was out of tomatoes, but I did have all kinds of other goodies to put on my sandwich, like this homemade pesto, and some delicious homemade sauerkraut that I made from cabbages that I grew last fall. Sauerkraut is so good for you. It's got all kinds of probiotics, and if you do grow cabbages in your garden, it's a great way to preserve them. I mean, here it is like April in this video, I think, when I filmed it, and I've still got sauerkraut left. Of course, adding those delicious greens from the garden and some organic lettuce. I just love sandwiches like this. They're so simple and easy and super delicious. I decided to eat outside because it seemed like it was going to be a nice day. The sun was sort of peeking out at the time, but it was a little bit overcast and a little bit windy. The lilacs are in bloom. They smell so good. Oh man, do these smell good. But it's kind of windy and cold right now. So I'm gonna head back home. It's late afternoon now and I'm ready for a snack, and I have these in my refrigerator. These are some mixed berry bars based off of a recipe that Mina Rome made in a recent video. I love Mina I love Mina Rome. And yeah, I made these for an Easter celebration on Easter, which was a little over a week ago. And so these need to get eaten up, but they're super good, so I don't mind doing that. I also found some strawberries that I had in the fridge that were left over from this weekend, so I'm having those too. Yum! And for our last recipe of the day, I am making a delicious Thai salad with tofu, using up a lot of vegetables that I had sitting in my refrigerator, like this cabbage that had been in there for quite some time and definitely needed to get used up. Cabbages also take up a lot of room, and I have a small refrigerator. So this is also my last carrot before I went and bought some groceries. And these are just gonna get steamed up in a steamer basket that I got at the Asian market. You can also buy them online, but they're really handy for steaming like this. And you might think it's kind of weird to have steamed vegetables in a salad, but trust me, this is delicious. This is based off of a recipe from a local Thai restaurant. I just love their Thai salad, but it's so easy to make at home. They top it with a crispy fried tofu, but I'm going to make my crispy tofu in the air fryer. To do this, I pressed my tofu to get rid of any excess moisture, and then I just cut it up into whatever shapes I am feeling that day. On this day, it was triangles, which is what they typically put on the Thai salad from the restaurant. Then I just put all the pieces into a container and add some cornstarch and a little bit of salt. And then I'm going to give that a really good shake to cover all the tofu with the cornstarch. Then that just goes onto a baking sheet that is specifically for my air fryer, and I spread the tofu out so that none of the pieces are touching, because sometimes they tend to stick together. And then I sprayed it with just a little oil, which is optional, but I do like the way that it makes it a little more crispy than it would be without it. And for my air fryer, I cook those at 450 for about 13 to 15 minutes, but that will vary according to your air fryer. Meanwhile, while those are cooking, I chop up all my veggies, like some cucumber, of course, that's my favorite, some peppery radish, which I have really been loving on my salads, and some spring onions. I also cut up some lovely organic lettuce and a Roma tomato. You could add whatever kind of vegetables you have in your refrigerator, but these are what I typically put in a salad. And instead of doing a peanut sauce like they would have at the restaurant, I decided to use up the rest of my almond butter and make an almond sauce. So I add some ginger, garlic, soy sauce, rice vinegar, and some sambal oelek, which is chili garlic sauce, and is what I really think makes this sauce super delicious and a little spicy. I also added a little bit of sugar, but I didn't show that here, and some water to thin it out to make it runny enough to spread on the salad. And then I just start building my salad with the steamed vegetables first. And then I start adding my raw vegetables like the lettuce and the tomato and the cucumber and of course the radishes. That all gets topped off with my nice crispy tofu, and then I will drizzle my almond butter sauce on top, sprinkling a little bit of green onion at the end, as well as some sesame seeds. And that's my beautiful Thai salad bowl with some crispy tofu and almond butter sauce on top. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed what was sort of a refrigerator clean out, just trying to reduce my food waste and reduce my grocery budget and just eating healthy. Eating vegan really is easy. It is budget friendly if you do it right and you're not eating a lot of like vegan junk food. A whole foods, plant-based diet is just the way to go all around. It's better for your health, it's better for your pocketbook, it's better for the planet, and it's definitely better for the animals. I hope you liked this video, and be sure to check out all the recipes in the description box below. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up by hitting that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Peace!